The film opens with a silent scene at a small town station named Flagstone in the Old West. When the train stops, several armed men anxiously stand guard, as if waiting for someone. However, none of the passengers disembark, and the train slowly departs again. Suddenly, a man wearing a hat steps down from the last carriage, playing a harmonica. This mysterious man, later known as Harmoncia, immediately approaches the guards and asks about someone named Frank. One of them says that Frank sent them. Harmoncia initially thinks they're there to pick him up, but it turns out they were ordered to kill him. Without hesitation, Harmoncia opens fire. Though he is briefly hit, he manages to shoot them all down. Shortly afterward, the story shifts to a small family in the hills, where a father named Brett is hunting with his son Timmy.
That's enough for now. It's getting late. Come on home.
They live in a simple house on a broad expanse of land. As they prepare to have lunch with their children, Brett hears gunshots and assumes foreign hunters are near his land. Suddenly, his daughter collapses, shot. As Brett runs to help, more shots ring out, this time striking his eldest son. Timmy, inside the house, rushes out to find his entire family murdered. At the same moment, Brett's wife, Jill, arrives at the station, anxious because her husband hasn't picked her up. She decides to take the train home. Along the way, the driver stops at a small roadside tavern. Jill enters, greeting the tavern owner and introducing herself as a woman from New Orleans. Their conversation is suddenly interrupted by a burst of gunfire from outside.
I can tell you're accustomed to fine living.
Moments later, a man named Cheyenne enters, his left hand in handcuffs, drawing suspicious stares. In the corner of the room, a harmonica melody plays, causing Cheyenne to turn toward the sound. He finds Harmoncia playing. Without saying much, Cheyenne points a gun at a patron and orders him to shoot off his shackles. Soon after, a group of men enters. The henchmen sent to fetch their boss, Cheyenne. As Cheyenne readies himself to leave, Harmoncia, believing Cheyenne to be one of Frank's men, confronts him about the 3 men sent to kill him. A shootout nearly erupts, but Cheyenne chooses to walk away. When Jill finally arrives home, neighbors are gathered on her porch to offer condolences. She is devastated to learn her entire family, including Timmy, has been killed. After the funeral, they inform Jill about the shooting and say they have found clues. The sheriff sends his deputies to arrest suspects. Since Jill is now alone, the driver suggests she return to New Orleans, but Jill refuses, declaring that Sweetwater is her home. Elsewhere, Harmoncia visits a man named Wobbles to ask about Frank's whereabouts. Though threatened and tortured, Wobbles insists he doesn't know where Frank is or why 3 men were sent to kill Harmoncia.
Frank wasn't there.
I don't know. Yeah, I swear, I only arranged the meeting the way you wanted it. I don't know. I don't know why Frank wasn't there.
Realizing Wobbles is truthful, Harmoncia lets him go. That night, Jill, alone at home, is startled by a harmonica melody outside. Afraid, She grabs a rifle and fires blindly into the darkness.
Who's there?
The next morning, when Jill opens the door, she is surprised to see Cheyenne and his men. She assumes they are responsible for her family's murder and demands answers. But Cheyenne insists neither he nor his group was involved. Meanwhile, the real perpetrator, Frank, meets with a businessman named Morton, who plans to build a railroad across Brett's land in Sweetwater. Brett discovered the plan and intended to leverage it by building a water station. Refusing to sell, Brett opposed Morton's scheme. Morton, wanting to remove the obstacle, hired Frank to intimidate Brett, but Frank killed Brett and his entire family. The murder enraged Morton, fearing it would draw sheriff's attention. He ordered Frank to clean up the mess, but Frank instead planned to seize Sweetwater himself. As Morton threatened him, Frank drew a gun, but Morton held no illusions. He had much greater power: money.
The only one that can stop that is this.
Meanwhile, a grieving Jill confides in Cheyenne, saying Brett was a good man and she cannot understand why someone made him their enemy. Determined to find the truth and defend her late husband's land as the only surviving heir, Jill refuses to leave. Cheyenne tells Jill she deserves a better life. Jill replies that the first man who said that is now buried, and she will seek retribution. Before leaving, Cheyenne mentions that Jill reminds him of his mother, as he never knew his father but is grateful for a strong woman raising him. In the stable, Jill is shocked when Harmoncia suddenly appears and lifts the top of her dress. As Jill tries to resist, Harmoncia tears the sleeve and says he wants to drink fresh water. Jill offers water from inside, but Harmoncia insists on water from the well in front of the house. Unexpectedly, Harmoncia notices two of Frank's men spying on them. As Jill and Harmoncia walk to the well, the two men watch from the bushes. Harmoncia then takes off his jacket to show he is unarmed. Convinced, the men step out to kill them, but Harmoncia had hidden a pistol inside his jacket and shoots them down.
You hear a strange sound drop to the ground.
Like what?
Like that.
From afar, Cheyenne and his men witness the scene, and Cheyenne appears impressed by Harmoncia's shooting skill. A few days later, Jill meets Wobbles, instructing him to deliver a message to Frank. Jill has learned that Frank masterminded her family's massacre and seeks revenge. Though Wobbles resents being blamed, Jill persists and insists on negotiating the railroad construction on Brett's land, which she now owns. After Jill leaves, Wobbles heads to the station to meet Morton and Frank aboard train. Though Wobbles denies connection to Frank, he is actually working for Morton. He delivers Jill's message to Frank and Morton. At that moment, Frank, standing by a window, sees Harmoncia secretly trailing Wobbles. Realizing Harmoncia is on the roof of the train car, Frank signals the conductor to depart. As they travel, the train slows and Harmoncia jumps down. But Frank, anticipating this, draws a gun. He seizes Harmoncia's weapon and orders his men to tie him up. Furious at being followed, Frank accuses Wobbles of carelessness, then throws him off the train. Meanwhile, Wobbles spots Cheyenne hiding near the train's wheels. Cheyenne signals Wobbles to stay silent, but Wobbles tries to warn Frank. Frank, having reached his limit, shoots him.
I told you to keep quiet.
Next, Frank directs his attention back to Harmoncia, who appears to know him well. Yet Frank doesn't recognize him. Frustrated, Frank slaps Harmoncia. Morton reminds Frank of their plan to claim Jill's land. Realizing the scheme outweighs personal disputes, Frank disembarks with his men. Meanwhile, Harmoncia remains on the train until Cheyenne arrives to rescue him. With cunning and sharpshooting, Cheyenne kills Frank's men and chooses to spare Morton due to Morton's frailty. Back in Sweetwater, Jill is surprised to see the construction materials ordered by Brett. She realizes her husband planned to build the station and rushes inside to find the station's model. She doesn't see it until Frank suddenly appears holding the model. Meanwhile, Harmoncia and Cheyenne decide to help Jill defend her property by starting construction of the station per Brett's wishes. Simultaneously, at Frank's headquarters, Jill is sexually harassed and threatened to force her into auctioning the land. The next day, Jill attends the land auction, but no one bids high. They've all been threatened by Frank's men. One offers only $5,000. When no one raises the bid, Harmoncia appears and bids $5,000, the bounty on Cheyenne's head. To save Jill, Cheyenne willingly offers himself.
All right, now who's going to make the first bid? $500. 500 once. Hear any other bids?
I don't.
$500.
$5,000. The reward for this man is $5,000, that's right?
Frank offers $5,000 to purchase the land from Harmoncia, but refuses.
Who are you? You paid $5,000 for something that belongs to me. 5,000 plus 1.
Easy, Frank.
You got a right to make a profit, too.
Then Frank realizes his own men betrayed him because Morton secretly bribed them. Harmoncia, aware that someone plans to kill Frank, saves him. He still has unfinished business. Angry at the betrayal, Frank goes to Morton's train car and finds all his men dead. He intends to kill Morton, but cannot bring himself to do it given Morton's terminal illness. In Sweetwater, Harmoncia meets again with Cheyenne, who survived the authorities despite serious wounds. Cheyenne goes to Jill's home and asks for a cup of coffee. Through the window, Jill sees Harmoncia standing outside as if waiting for someone. Cheyenne tells Jill that Harmoncia still has a personal matter with Frank and that their duel will come soon. Sure enough, Frank arrives on horseback and approaches Harmoncia. They prepare for a final duel, but for Harmoncia, this is personal, a quest for vengeance for his brother's death at Frank's hands.
Because I know that now you'll tell me what you're after. I came here to see you. The land, not the money, not the woman.
Only at the point of dying.
A flashback shows a young boy holding his dying brother. It was young Harmoncia, and Frank was the one who ordered the execution and forced the harmonica into the brother's mouth, making the child unwittingly kill his own brother. In the present, Harmoncia shoots Frank, killing him. As Frank lays dying and asks who Harmoncia is, Harmoncia retrieves his old harmonica and places it in Frank's mouth. Frank finally remembers the boy who watched his brother die. Jill, realizing Frank is dead, breathes a sigh of relief.
I hope you'll come back someday.
I gotta go.
As Harmoncia enters the house, Jill smiles but knows he must leave. She hopes he'll one day return to Sweetwater. As they leave, Cheyenne suddenly collapses and dies from his wounds. Harmoncia, moved, places Cheyenne's body atop his horse and rides away. Meanwhile, railroad construction continues in Sweetwater, and Jill is seen offering water to the workers, watching her late husband's dream station being built.